Beautiful. Hello, everyone. So, Meredith is in the ether right now, just making sure that you are all cared for because we have a few uh, new platforms. Well, one new platform, which is our group. We now have a Facebook group called Story Steps Education, which is the name of our school. Meredith and I have a school, which is for children and it is for you grown-ups as well. And so we're making sure that this sharing is happening both on the How to Story page and the new group. The new group is where most of the conversation around what we're going to be presenting takes place. And so, Meredith, I'm not sure if that was a wave. That was a wave. Okay, so I'm going to bring Meredith forward. There you are. Hello.
Yes. Hello, all.
Yeah. Nice waving. I saw it in the corner of my eye, but wasn't sure if I was inventing things. But
I didn't want to wave too much because I didn't want to distract you. So
oh, no.
Subtle waving.
That's not a thing that happens to me. Hello, Meredith. So as people are arriving, and I'm going to go over to the comments here so that we can see, let us know where you're coming from when you arrive. And then I'll frame how we're going to be using the next 20 minutes. And then the final 10 minutes or so will be used for answering questions. So you're welcome to ask any questions or anything clarifying about what we're bringing now, or if you have additional questions related to Thanksgiving or the flurry of festivals that are ahead of us during such a remarkable time. So Meredith, I guess what I'll do is frame this. I'll present first and then hand it over to you, and then we'll go to questions and hopefully our answers. How does that sound?
That sounds great, David.
Okay, so I'm David. I'm in Austin, and Meredith is far up north on the other side of the country in Vermont. However, we're all in the same country, which is celebrating Thanksgiving, which is a tried and true festival for many, many people. I have a number of friends who are abroad right now, even some that haven't lived in this country for a while, and Thanksgiving is still goes pretty deep for them. We all have our Thanksgiving traditions. We have how we experienced it when we were children, either positively or negatively, or a mixture of both. How we've created it over the years, what we're doing now as adults, for those of you who have your own families and have developed your own traditions around Thanksgiving. All of that experience is now potentially irrelevant because of the pandemic and because of our response to it. Now, some of you have managed to work out a way in which you can be with the loved ones that you have been away from for a long time, months and months. Many of you are not going to be with those loved ones and are going to be experiencing Thanksgiving with your immediate family, or just a partner, or whoever you've gathered within your bubble, what have you, that is within your comfort zone of pandemic recommendations. So what that means for many of us is that we will be connecting with those loved ones, grandparents, children, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, nephews, virtually. And if you are like Meredith and myself, you have a tolerance for such experiences and are maybe not looking forward to it. So what we have to offer are techniques that we use, because we spend a fair amount of time doing virtual work. It's how we teach our courses with the kids. It's how we connect with the adults in our community membership. We have office hours. We teach tutorials like this and mini courses. It's all virtual. And so in order to make it a more pleasant experience for us and make it a more pleasant experience for the people that we're working with, make it an energy-giving experience rather than an exhausting experience, and make it something in which we feel deeply connected and are able to feel that that closeness, we use something that I have since come to call somatic storytelling. And so with that, Meredith, I'll go into what's behind me, and then Meredith is going to be talking about something that will be very relevant for the virtual Thanksgiving as well as the in-person Thanksgiving, which is that it's been a contentious year. It's been a polarizing year. It's been surprising to many of us where people who we love and are close to have landed on any number of polarizing issues that we're having right now. And this is where we all come together, we eat and we talk, we share. So there could be some hot button topics on the table along with your food. And Meredith will help us maybe, take the sting out of that a little bit and make it so that we can all have the festival that we're after. How's that sounding, Meredith? Does that line up with?
Yes. Well said. Thank you, David.
Okay, great. So I'm going to go into what's behind me here real quick in just a few minutes, and then it'll go to Meredith, and then we'll have an opportunity to ask some questions. All right. So somatic storytelling is something that Meredith, myself, and a somatic therapist worked on together. And I developed a particular version of it working with faculties that were, elementary school faculties that were so used to having the children with them and taking cues off of the kids and teaching within the same space, suddenly having to teach virtually, and taking away really one of the biggest benefits of being an elementary school teacher, which is being in the love in the same room with the children. And so this will work for virtual Thanksgivings as well. And the deliverable, if you will, is feeling close and feeling sensually, like the five senses, like you are in the same space with the others, so that you can share in that way and not feel so far away, or for it to feel dysregulating connecting through a screen. So over here are 3 ways in which for us to embody ourselves, and over here are 3 ways in which to use your storytelling. I'm just going to go through them and tell you how I do them. And if you need to clarify any of them, we'll have some time at the end.
And David, it'll be easier for our viewers if you expand your screen.
Okay, so we're going to, actually, I can do that with you still here, Meredith, by doing this.
Great.
All right, great. So Meredith's still with us that way. So 1, move your body. 2, taste the food. And 3, taste your words. This can also go over here, but it's an embodied experience. So moving your body means that I'm right here looking at this screen, sitting in this chair. There is no reason why, especially if I'm using a phone, that I can't walk around the house, bring my relatives into the kitchen where they can hear the food cooking, where I am putting the phone down for a moment and mixing the next meal, where I am bringing them over to the dining room, showing them the centerpiece, interacting, getting up, taking them over to the window to show them the weather. So when I do that, I'm not only giving them a full experience, but I am regulating myself. Because what happens if you stare too long into one point of view and are sitting in the same place, you begin to disassociate a little bit and forget like where your body is and where reality is, which is that this machine is in a room. Just that, I'm already changed the feeling in my body, moving away from this and recognizing this is an object in the room. That's huge. Taking a moment and looking around the room and then returning back. Huge experience for your body, for your soma, for the somatic experience that you're having. So move your body. And when you're interacting, take a moment to really taste the food. If you're going to be sharing your meal with someone, I'm going to have a bite of the stuffing now. The stuffing has X, 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 and X in it. I'm really tasting it. And then over here, you'll see you can actually do some description of how it tastes, some storytelling around that. But first, you really want to taste it and just leave the screen for a moment, taste it fully, and then you can share if that's a part of what you're going to be doing. And then tasting your words is the same way. And the way in which you taste that stuffing, when you taste your words, when you can feel them happening inside your mouth, it gets you into your body. It gets you into your mouth, into your tongue, and into connecting it to your imagination. And you have this embodied experience of talking. And you can feel your words floating around the room. You say pumpkin pie. You taste the pumpkin pie. But the word in your mouth, you feel that? When I say it that way, your experience as the listener changes. You're not just getting information, you're getting this blast of, of embodied speech. So, embodied speech, over to here, your descriptions are key to the storytelling. You're not just going to give information and relate and give you updates on your life. Describe them with conscious adjectives or metaphors. This dessert tastes like my youth, and then describe why. Get into your imagination. If you have to close your eyes for a little while, not relate to them, but then remember when we were, what was it, 6 and you were 8? Do you remember that Thanksgiving when, dot, dot, dot? Describe it out of your imagination, inviting storytelling. And then the way in which you speak can help you land in your body and can help someone listen in an embodied way. I'm doing it right now. So I'm modulating my voice, bringing in some rhythm and then no rhythm, a long pause, bringing things up and then down. It's fun. It's fun to taste your words. It's fun to bring in rhythm. It's fun to move my body as I speak. And most of the time, people won't recognize that there's something strange happening. All they'll know is that they feel delight. You're clearly having a good time. And all of this together is making this a, a, a bodily, pleasant experience, which for a holiday built around food, that is key. So with that, I'm going to switch places with Meredith. And I'm actually going to take me out of it because I think it naturally makes me bigger. And so I'll be in the back room. I'll be in the green room. And you just give me the signal when you want me to screen share, Meredith.
Wonderful, David. Thank you so very much for giving us this imagination, using your words and bringing it into our bodies of how we can experience a virtual Thanksgiving in a way that has meaning and builds new expectations as opposed to dashing our older expectations. And so David framed my portion of our conversation based on the stories that we may be sharing in our Thanksgiving conversations that may be a little tense or may be contentious or may even be laced with some longing or some grief because we really want to be together when we can't be. And so, what I'd like us to explore now is not just the creating the virtual Thanksgiving that is nourishing for our imaginations, for our bodies, for the stories that we tell and share, but also that we can unstory or untether those narratives that bring tension or discomfort to our festival. So keep in mind the 3 terms that David shared with us, and I just noted them to make sure I remembered them. Describe, imagine, and modulate, all to have a somatic virtual Thanksgiving experience. Describe with your words, imagine using your imagination, and then sensing within. And those 3 components together build a virtual Thanksgiving that can have meaning and joy and delight. So I'm going to screen share for just a moment the components differently expressed All right. So, David, I believe I'm sharing I'm not sure if what's showing up is what I want to show up. So I'm going to stop sharing and try one more time. Okay, here we go. Try it again, please. There it is. All right, so storytelling. When we experience the meaning of a story, when we are attracted to the density of a narrative, there are three components to that story. There is an image or the imagination, as David referred to. There is the somatic feeling or the emotion associated with the story that we experience when the story has meaning. And then there are words, the literal words that encapsulate or represent the story. When we have all three of those components woven together, an imagination, a somatic experience, as well as the words, we've created a reality. David gave us an invitation to develop a virtual Thanksgiving reality that is sensual and delicious and connective. Now, keeping those three components in mind, the image, the feeling, and the speech being a reality. We're going to take those three components now and look at where they might create some tension, either in conversation that's contentious or in some aspect of the holiday that is not living up to your expectation. The invitation here, which you can be doing in real time while you're experiencing your Thanksgiving, is to just take a step back and observe the story that is taking place. So just as David invited us to put this machine into an environment, so too am I inviting you to step out of even the involvement that you're in and observe this virtual experience in the space and observe almost like you're watching a show or watching some kind of presentation or performance. And as you're observing this, whether it's the words that are striking you in the conversation, whether there's an imagination that's unsettling for you, or whether there's something in your body that is just not comfortable, take a step back, and the invitation is to ask yourself, all right, in this story that is being told right now, that I'm believing, that I'm telling myself, because there are words and images and some kind of sensations that are entangled, what's the strongest? Are the words that are being said jumping out at me? Is there something in my body that's uncomfortable, a physical sensation? Or is there an image that I just can't shake that is just really strong? Take a step back and look at one of those components for just what they are, just the words. See if you can experience whatever your cousin just said, just the words, and hear them as sounds or see them as letters, and focusing just on the words without entangling those with an imagination or with a somatic experience. They become just that, letters and sounds. Put space around them, aerate them, loosen your identification with them. Or if there's some physical sensation in your body that's just uncomfortable, feel it, know it, familiarize yourself with it, just as a sensation. Oh, there's some tension here in my throat. It's just tension. Let me just feel the tension in my throat as it is. If you can drop the story aspect of the words, or just let the imagination live somewhere loosely in the distance and bring your attention just to the sensation. It's just a sensation without any story behind it. And be there with it just as a sensation. And so, too, if there's an imagination, just see it as an image. Oh, I'm at an art museum. I'm looking at a painting. There are colors, there are shapes, there are forms. And in that role of the spectator, look at just that aspect of the story. And I won't guarantee, because this activity takes some practice, but I would suspect that if you just give yourself that opportunity to experience your virtual Thanksgiving as a spectator, when you're noticing any kind of discomfort, enter it fully as David invites us when you're wanting to connect. But when you're wanting to distance yourself, it can happen in a flash. Step back, say, words, images, sensation, and observe it just for the aspect of the story that it is. Stay with it, be patient, and see what happens. If it's words that you focus on and those loosen and drop some kind of identification or meaning, but there's still an image, then go there. If there's a sensation, then go there. The important aspect of this, though, is that you look at one component at a time. And that's when the story that has you entangled and has you in its grip is then given the opportunity to relax a bit. And boy, wouldn't it be lovely if we could just bring a bit more ease, even 10% more ease into those moments of tension, because these are the times when ease is welcome and much needed. So David, I'm going to invite you back in so that we can end with a few minutes of recapping what we've shared, weaving it together, and seeing then if there are any questions from our participants.
Yeah, you can type those into the comments, those of you coming from either Facebook Live or from YouTube Live. We will see the comments here. I can say that since I've learned this from you, Meredith, it's by practicing it, I'm finding it happens very quickly now. That some version of it happens very quickly, where I can unstory for my own experience around something. I can unstory the way in which I interpret a person's words, even people I don't know. It's been very handy during the election cycle to really, not get myself all wrapped up in a story that someone is telling that I may interpret one way or the other, and instead experience as almost like the Matrix of the end of that. I don't know if you're familiar with the movie, Meredith, but at the end of the first one, the Keanu Reeves character sees all of reality as just the code, the green code just washing in front of him in different configurations of it. I really feel like the same thing applies for stories. And once you can see the code, that's what, in my experience, I experience of the step back that you're talking about. The like, okay, well, it's all stories, clearly. Look at all this. And so which ones do I really want to like latch myself to, get all excited about? Do I want to like have a tussle right now? Yeah, I think I do. And, and go into it, or not, or not. So Thanksgiving is, just sort of intensifies the colors of whatever's going on. Well, the beauty of this particular platform is that a lot of people came a little bit later into it, is that you can continue to ask questions, even though the live portion will close. You just add them right in the comment stream. And we should tell you, those of you who are coming to the page, we have started a Facebook group, and there's a link to it in the feed there. Over in the group, we've decided for things that are Story Steps education oriented, which are these tutorials, the classes that we teach the kids, the membership discussions on a particular topic. Those are all mostly, I mean, we'll answer questions here, of course, but those will be happening in depth and in a more interactive way in the group. And you're very welcome to join us over there.
We'd love to see you there. Thank you so much for taking time to invite us to be part of your virtual Thanksgiving experience. Many new ways to connect with one another and experience this holiday with fresh eyes.
So until the next one, which is happening in a few weeks, just become a part of this page or the group to get updates on that. But we're going to be talking about welcoming in the miracle of the holiday festival during this time where it feels like where are the miracles? Where are they hiding? Well, we know, and we'll let you know. All right. Bye, all.
Bye-bye, all.